the idea that Andrew Thomas is now going to anchor that line of scrimmage. Now, I think for the Giants, they're still going to have issues defensively. I don't think that's a secret. But offensively, how much better, because this was an offense that really did seem to hit on, not all cylinders, but got pretty good towards the latter stages of the year as Daniel Jones got more and more comfortable. How much better can this team be if he turns out to be the player that they
Well, I think he's going to be a great player. I really do. I mean, when they drafted him, I thought it was a little high. It was surprising for all of us. But the more you watch him last year and going back and looking at the tape of how he played and some of the throws that he made, you're like, wow, this kid's really got it. And, he's 24-12 last year with touchdowns to interception ratio. He did have the 18 fumbles and stuff like that. But I was surprised about how athletic he was, the fact that he could move and that he could run like a 4.7 40, whatever it is. He's bigger. He's stronger this year than he was last year, I'm sure, because of his background and because of who his coach was in college and because, he's a Manning protege. He was working on all the fundamentals to become great. He's got the perfect personality for the New York Giants. I think he's a terrific young player, and I think Jason Garrett's going to get even more out of him than Shermer did last year, which is going to be good.
He's in a good spot with this team. He didn't take the head coaching job. He comes back to the Giants. I think it made a lot of sense both ways, back and forth. But I do think the problem for the Giants will be defensively.
And again, secondary is going to be a mess.
Right, and so that's where you're going to end up with a team that's going to have to outscore other clubs to win games. And so I don't know, you look at the win totals, and I do that with, the different betting apps, obviously, and you see different people with the predictions, and you see over-unders and stuff like that. I don't know that you judge this team this year on wins and losses. You've got a 38-year-old head coach. You've got a quarterback who, I'm with you, I thought he exceeded expectations.
100% he did.
And I know he had trouble holding on to the football. I get it. But I also think that's something that's correctable going forward, and it's more the awareness, and you know better than anybody. It's the awareness on the field, and that should be significantly better this year. I think they'll put up a lot of points, and I think they'll be good, but I just don't know what they get out of this team and what's realistic for them to do based on the issues they will have on the other side of the ball.
I do know this, that he will be a much better player already this year than he was at any point in time last year, just simply because he's going to be more comfortable in his own skin. And Eli Manning's not in the building anymore. It's his team. He's the guy. He is, without question, the number one quarterback. He's the ultimate leader in the team. When he was a walk-on at Duke, he earned that spot. And I think his teammates at Duke loved and respected him. And I think the Giants players are going to love and respect this kid if they don't already do. And I also like when a former quarterback is calling plays. My buddy Frank Reich calls the plays in Indianapolis, called the plays in Philadelphia, called the plays in San Diego. And every quarterback that he called plays for had their best seasons. Because former quarterbacks understand exactly how to get the most out of the guy that they're coaching. And that's why I think the Jason Garrett signing is going to be just as important for his development as the Joe Judge signing as his head coach will be. Joe Judge will hold everybody else accountable, which makes me as a quarterback very happy because it makes my job easier. But number two, he's got an offensive quarterback calling plays. He's got a quarterback calling plays for him.
Right.
So that's good. All of that is good. So I think he's going to be in a really stable environment. I think they're going to have to put up a lot of points in order to win games. Their interior defense is going to be okay. I don't know where the pass rush is coming from yet. We have to see whether or not Golden and, Carter are guys that you can count on, consistently. And certainly with all the issues at cornerback for them right now going into the season is going to be a major problem for them.
Now, my take last week, because there were so many articles written about Judge and the way he's running camp, and I think even yesterday, I think he kept him an extra 30 minutes, not happy with the way they practiced, but the final 30 minutes went well. My take on this was, quite simply, it's a young team, young coach. It works. I don't think if you've got a bunch of 30-year-olds that have been around the block that might have won here and there, that it does work. So I actually think this is the right fit at the right time for this team. You've been around the block a long time. I mean, does that make sense to you, or does a coach like this just grate on guys, and by week 8 they have had enough?
Here's the thing. It's really about the relationship at the top, and that's between him and Daniel Jones. If Daniel Jones has the personality like Tom Brady had when he was younger, and he could take the slings and arrows that were going to be thrown at him by Bill Belichick, which ultimately, I think, separated them after 20 years, by the way. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It only matters how the quarterback plays and how he reacts to his head coach. Joe Judge knows this. He watched it for 8 years or 9 years, I guess, up there in New England and saw how Belichick treated everybody evenly and how he would go after Brady for effect, I would tell you.
Right.
And I know that Brady was frustrated at times. Like he once said to Phil Simms, "You would think that I've never done anything around here or accomplished anything around here the way I get screamed and yelled at." But that's part of like the whole locker room mentality, and that's also, I think, the way that a leader kind of shows that he can be one of the guys. And Daniel Jones certainly has that personality. He's going to be good. He's solid. He's rock solid as a person, and he showed it last year. I mean, his rookie year was terrific when you think about it. He was just on a bad team.
And I thought it was maybe not from the first game that he played, but I thought very quickly he showed that he belonged. And to me, if that's what you've got, then you've got someone for the next, you hope, 10, 12, or in Brady's case, 25 years.
Well, I just think, Jerry, that, he's athletic enough to get away from people, too. That's the other thing that they really didn't have with Eli. Eli was more of a, pocket passer. He was like his brother. He would run every now and again, and when he did, it was like shocking. I think Daniel Jones will be more apt to take off and do things because of his athleticism that Giant fans haven't seen for a long time.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.